Hello everybody. This is my first guide ever in any game, so bear with me a little bit. I will get better as we go along. But this guide is for last Epoch Thorns build. Now to start out, we're gonna first discuss a few things, and by no means is this like high corruption and that I'm not even in corruption, so bear with it. I think it has the potential to go really high, unless you get one shot. But we're working on that currently. So let's talk about what Thorns is in last Epoch. Thorns is mentioned as two abilities. Both are very different, but both work together really well. One for bosses, one for minions and bosses. So damage dealt to attackers. It ignores all defenses, which is great. It's just a straight flat damage. Doesn't matter what their defenses are. And then there's damage reflected. So it is a percentage of the damage that gets dealt to you gets dealt to the attacker. So in this case, 123%. So it'll do all the damage that they do to me, plus 23% of that damage back to them. So now that that is out of the way, damage dealt to attackers is what they get hit for. So right now you can see with no buffs, just in Spriggan form, with my two Spriggans, we have 4,796. That is going to get dealt to them, plus their 100% damage they do to us. So if it's 1,000, they're going to get almost 6,000 damage reflected back to them. So that is what Thorns is. Now there's multiple ways to increase Thorns as a Spriggan. We'll talk about that first, and that's Thorn Shield. Thorn Shield does two things. It gives us armor, and it gives us damage dealt to attackers per stack of it. So as you can see, as I cast it, it increases our damage dealt to attackers. And it also increases our armor significantly. Up to 11,000 armor, and I think we got up to 20,000 damage dealt to attackers. Which is huge. Because again, that ignores all defenses. So even if they have 100% physical damage reduction, you're still going to hit them. Now, how did I get that high? Yeah, so how did I get that high? Attunement. 100% attunement. What you're looking for is this shield, Thorn Shell. It boosts your damage with thorns an immense amount. That 8%, which does go up to 9%, increase flat damage reflected to attackers per attunement. That is absolutely insane. Without... Oh, come on. Without that shield, I'm only at 638, so it gives me 4,000 attunement. Or 4,000 damage dealt to attackers because of my 71 attunement. As that gets higher, it is multiplicative. So 5 attunement, I take that off, I go down 300. Absolutely insane. Now, other pieces of gear are basically this. The Valdir's Chalice. 100% of damage reflected. That is what gets you the 100% of what they do to you, you do back to them. Very, very easy to stack. If you get those two, it's game over. And then there's items like Oak Armor, And like I said, it's all multiplicative. So you take off Oak Armor, you're at 3,500. It takes you down 1,200, even though it only says 182 damage reflected. It is this that increases it exponentially. Now, what we are going to do, put those in there. As you can see, I don't even have all my totems. None of my totems add any thorns whatsoever. Like, I can take them off. Totems are there for utility. If you need health regen, put in health regen. If you want more damage over time from your minions, which I'll get into with the vines, put in damage over time. 100% choice is up to you. Same with the gear. 100% choice for you, but I do suggest that you get the Legacy of the Quiet Forest for the 17 rage gained and massive amounts of poison resistance. The second is Tears of the Forest. You get 2 rage gained per second per summoned vine, which I will go over in a minute here. It is absolutely incredible because you don't run out of rage when you have all your thorns, or when you're casting your thorn shield. You can see my rage does not go down. So basically the rotation is cast 4 thorns, spam your shield, run around. That's all you have to do. This just gives a little bit extra to damage reflected. I could put in another ring that has attunement and scale even higher. Yeah, I don't really have another one on me. But I'll put that back in there. Yeah. So how did I get there? How did I get to where I am? Let's take a look at our passives first. What you're going to want to do is, like I said, you're going to want to scale attunement as high as you can. So we first drop 8 points into this. Then we go into increased health, because we are taking hits to do damage. So you're going to want health like crazy. Only reason I took this is to get to the 25 points and the increased health regen. You could go into increased health, or if you find your minions are dying, your Spriggans are dying too much, you can spec into here. And then you're going to have to put 1 point into here. We don't want to dual wield because we are using our shield, so do not take this point. Into the druid. This is where it gets absolutely crazy because we heal every time we cast Thorn Shield. And if we can cast Thorn Shield repeatedly, I have a point. When we cast Thorn Shield repeatedly, we are constantly healing. So you get hit, you heal. We need to take 5 into here to start. So you take 5 into here, move down to here to get your attunement. Plus 1 to all attributes as well once you hit the 5 point mark. And then we need to take this to eventually spec into Blossoming Garden, to spec into Totemic Restoration. And since we are being hit, we want 5 out of 5 out of this because we have a chance to summon a healing totem whenever we are hit. Any healing in this build is great. You're also going to want Focused Wrath because that reduces the Rage DK by 30%. Yes, 30%. Which leads to no Rage DK out of combat. So if you're not in combat, you can run around as a Spriggan. You don't even need to pop anything for the first few levels if you have the gear that I already showed. Because the damage alone will kill everything. Into Harmonious Wisdom, which is a no-brainer. It is 10 free attunement for your skill points. Then before we take Woodland Beings, we pop over to Shaman for the attunement. Attunement. And I just chose this because I needed 2 extra points to get to the 10 node, which is right here. You can take whatever you want. If you want armor with active totems, which at most we only have 2. So you're only getting 100 extra armor. And we don't care about the increased mana regen because that does not affect rage. Then we come back over to Druid. Take Woodland Beings, 4 points. Because we want to stack into here for a chance to summon Vine on kill, which again grants us increased rage regen. And things are going to die quick with us. And the minion poison chance, because our vines, they pop poison on hit. And this is a very, very simple build, because we only need 3 masteries. We need Eterra's Blessing, which is the first one you get. We want this for this node, Rose Bloom. Whenever you directly cast Thorn Shield, which is what we are spamming, you also cast Eterra's Blessing on the same target, so yourself. So you're constantly healing with Eterra's Blessing, you're constantly healing with totems. It's incredible. But the bread and butter, besides that, is you cleanse all ailments whenever you cast your Thorn Shield. So you don't have to worry about damage over time. And since we're always at high health, this has a 100% chance to summon a healing totem on high health. So you're always summoning 2. As you can see here, let me pop this. Healing totems, 2 of them. They're right there. They summon. Healing totems heal for 100 health, I believe, per second. Healing totems, let's see here. And they also scale with attunement. So I'm getting 284% increased healing effectiveness. And they have a lot of health because of the attunement scale. The next one you're going to want to take, and then everything else is user's choice. Elemental resistance. Every time I cast, I gain elemental resistance of 45%. Increased healing effectiveness, less mana. You want this maxed out because it does take from your rage every time you cast. I took the damage over time. Heals half of its value immediately because it's always being popped. So you don't really need the full effect of it. And then it gives you the other half afterwards. The next one you're going to want to take is Spriggan form. This one's very important because this is what gives us additional flat damage to attackers. So the Thorn Shield reflects additional flat damage to attackers. This scales infinitely. This is what gets us up to the 25, 30,000, 35,000 I've seen. Every time we cast Thorn Shield, we get a stack of it. Like I showed you before, we can spam it. Lasts longer so you can get more stacks. Grants additional armor because we need armor for physical hits where you're being hit. And then Thorn Shield has a chance to recast itself on the same target when it expires. That's self-explanatory. If it expires, we get it. We need this because when you have your minions right beside you and you have vines everywhere, 12 vines everywhere, if you're playing with somebody else and they're on top of you, your healing totems spawn on top of you. It is very hard to cast Thorn Shield on yourself. So you are going to need introspection. That way you can only target you, and you gain the heals, you gain everything. It's a very selfish build. This is meh. The only reason I took this, because we're not entering and exiting Spriggan form, we're staying in Spriggan form. Only reason I took this is to double summon the Spriggan, which we'll get into next. Why I want double? Because with this, we cast more vines. We have extra aura healing, just passive healing from them. And they also deal good damage. Going into this Spriggan summons, we want to jump all the way to Thorny Stalks. When you control a Spriggan, you and your Spriggans reflect flat damage to attackers per point of vitality. So 18 per point of vitality. Again, it is multiplicative. I am going to be switching, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be switching all my strength to vitality, hopefully, so that I can build upon this. If I can get, say, 100, that's 1,800 extra damage reflected. Plus, it adds up all of the, all the multiplicative factors. So jump towards that as fast as you can and go for it. The next thing I went to is the Aura of Life. 5 out of 5 is great because aura healing is just the passive healing it does when you're within a certain range of it. We don't really care about the rejuvenating wind once we get up to a level where we can stay Spriggan. So once we stay Spriggan, we give up the rejuvenating wind healing. That is the Spriggan's active ability. As you can see, we get rid of it when we are not in human form. Again, healing aura to minions. Take that simply because you want to keep each other alive. We have 2 of them. So keep them alive. They both do aura healing to each other. We then pop over, once we get that settled away, and now you are technically, unless you get one shot, you are invincible. Then we move into the Briar Summoner so that they can summon vines. These vines aren't affected by our limit, so they can cast 6 of them, which is great. Because 6 vines equals more rage regen. They deal more damage because more damage is always nice. You want them to summon 3 at a time with the 120% reduced cooldown. So now it's only got a 30% increased cooldown rate. So they always get off 6 of them. That's all you need. That will cover this build completely for you to be able to run. Only reason I took these 2 is chance on kill to cast Maelstrom. It's just extra physical damage. And it pops Twisters. Only thing is again, it scales with attunement. Is I thought Tornadoes scaled Twisters, which it does not. So I'm going to be changing this out. This is 100%, you can make whatever you want. If you want to, well, nothing else really goes with it. There's no auto cast on anything else. There is a form where you could go Spriggan, or not a form, a variation. If you want to go Spriggan form into bear form, then cast your stuff in bear form, go back into Spriggan form. That's too many buttons. We're looking at the laziest build that there is in Last Epoch. I'm going to break down this video. This is just a generalization video of what Thorns is, how to get there, and what to do. If you can tell, I have 2 to summon Spriggan, plus 8 attunement. Only reason I'm wearing this is because of the plus 8 attunement. This has damage reflected again, multiplicative. My boots, 7 attunement. Gloves, plus 5 to all attributes. That's the only reason I'm wearing these gloves. Because we don't do melee damage, we do reflect damage. We don't do spell damage, we do reflect damage. Increased cast speed is nice because you can get more stacks, which then further increase your reflect damage. Weapon, whatever you want. I suggest increased damage over time for minions. Why? Because they do poison damage. That's the only reason why. Mom! Sorry, my kiddo's loving it. He's just loving life. So the basics, I am level 76. And these are 90s with 4 corruption. We'll go into one. Only thing I can say. Bosses are a pain in the ass. So once we get into here, what the build can actually do. .com. So keep an eye out for that. Oh good, we have something up real close. So before we even cast anything, you can see I'm literally just standing here, healing, and things are dead. That's without buffing. And these are level 90s with 4 corruption, so they have 4% increased health, I believe. 2% more health and damage. Level 76 in a level 90. That is, oh, and they have 15% increased health as well. That is what this build can do. If you don't cast anything, if you just want to run around, you can do it. Now, you want to start out by casting 4 Thorns, or 4 Vines, to then start your Rage regen, and as a boss killer. Then you just start casting Thorn Shield, pop whatever, and it doesn't matter if they hit you with spell, it doesn't matter if they hit you with melee, spell, whatever, it doesn't matter. And as you can see, we also gain a chance to get it on hit. We can just stand here, get in the way of our minions. Done. That is what this build is capable of. Seal the Void Gate. We'll rush over there. So really this, you don't even need to click if you're in lower variations. You don't even need to click anything. The build does the work itself. Sure, you might need to heal every once in a while, but how do we do that? We just cast our Thorn Shield. More damage equals healing. You can see I just stand there. These guys, oh, that guy's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. I'm going to heal through it. Every second you heal. Alrighty. Here's the Spire. 2, 3, 4 Thorns. Click this. Or 4 Vines, rather. And then we just stand here. And we literally spam. And things die. It is not that hard of a build. It is kind of unique dependent on one item. But 3 items if you want to stay in Spriggan form. Lag, not a problem. Why? Because they have to do damage to us anyways. And we got the slab. And that's it. I will be doing a more comprehensive video where I will break it down into a skills section, and we will be going and deep diving into this build. But I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of an overview of what this build is capable of. People have told me damage reflect is not good in last Epoch. I said, screw you, it is. It's always good in every game. Now, like I said, with the caveat that you don't get one shot. If you get one shot, you're gonna die. Regardless of how much armor you have, how much thorns you have, you will die if it's a one shot, which a lot of bosses actually can do, so you do have to do mechanics. It is not a face tanking build. It is if they hit you, they're going to take damage, but in the reminder that you will also take damage. So keep that in mind. I will get done and release the full comprehensive guide on YouTube. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Have the notifications on. I will release it Friday. I will have it done probably tomorrow, and it'll be done for Friday and posted Friday. But also, I stream this game as well on Twitch, Shark Bites Gaming on Twitch. Or if you're in the air about buying this game, something very helpful would be to check out nexus.gg/sharkbites. You can buy the base game, the deluxe game, the ultimate edition, and any of the supporter packs through that link, and it gives me a little kickback. I believe it's 15% they give me. And that's all for the same price that you're going to pay anyways through Steam. What it does is you buy it there, they give you a Steam key, you put it into Steam, and you own the game. So help a fellow content creator out. Get it on nexus.gg/sharkbites, and yeah, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified when I go live, when the video goes live for the comprehensive build on Friday. Like I said, I apologize, this is my first video, so bear with me, they will get better. Alright everybody, have a great one, and I will see you all later.